case anyone needs to go back and watch it again. If you have a question, like when we're talking about the TPA, if you might miss something there, and so those are going to be posted on our website. This afternoon, Dr. Backus will come in and talk to you about our Professional Development Schools grant and what that means. She'll also have a special guest. And when you were coming through the sign-in outside, you were supposed to pick up 2 sheets regarding the trauma video. If you didn't get both of those, it's okay. I've sorted them out now. The copier didn't cooperate. So you can pick that up later. She's going to talk to you a little bit about that as well. Beth Law will be here from Career Services with resume building. That is probably one of our student teachers' favorite parts of the day, and they are really interested in that. Beth has great information. I'm just telling you, she's really good at what she does. So listen closely while she's here. She'll also have a PowerPoint which she will send to me, which I will send to you when this is over. And then after that, we'll have our university supervisor breakout session. That'll be about 2:30, and then you're free to go. And then tomorrow's the first day of school. Okay? So is everybody on track with what we're going to do tonight? All right. Okay, so tomorrow is the first day of school. Who's excited? Who feels like it's like the first day of school when you were like a kid, like an elementary kid, right? It's all brand new. New school, new teachers, all new things. And so we ask that you do a few things before the first day of school to make your first day stress-free. So I also need to add something here while we're talking, and then I'll add it back. Okay. So everyone in here should have communicated with their cooperating teacher already. Okay? You should have sent that nice, friendly, introductory email. Hey, this is me. This is my contact information. I'd love to talk to you before I come, that sort of thing. Most of your teachers answered back. Some of them didn't, right? And you've maybe sent them another email since then. I just had somebody outside say, I haven't heard from my teacher. They all know you're coming. Sometimes teachers aren't very good at checking email. You'll learn that. So, just as a rule of thumb, you need to check your email every day, okay, during this. Get into a good habit of that. So you should have communicated with your cooperating teacher already. If you haven't, let me know, and we'll talk about it. You should have exchanged contact information. What if you wake up tomorrow morning and there's 3 feet of snow on the ground? This is not going to happen. But what if that happened? You all would need to talk, correct? Okay, so make sure that you have their number, they have your number, best way to communicate, that sort of thing. Know what time to arrive. Teacher arrivals are different at different schools. Different schools have different start times. Your teacher might have morning duty. They may have to get there earlier, so you should know. If your teacher said, teachers are to report at 7:45 and school starts at 8, what time should you be there? Not 7:45, about 7:30, okay? You need to give yourself plenty of time in the morning to make sure you're not late. Who has driven out to their school to know where it is? Most people. Okay, so you need to know when you're supposed to be there. You need to know how long it's going to take you to get there. Listen, morning school traffic is a completely different world if you've never been in it. And I live on the road where the middle school and high school is in my community, and there is a pull out with people going 2 ways, and there's traffic coming this way, there's a turn lane, and there's traffic coming this way. If there is not a police officer out there directing traffic, I might as well just forget it. It's a 20-minute sit, okay? So you need to know what's up. You need to know where you should park. Do not park in somebody else's parking space. Y'all know what I'm talking about. People are very territorial about things. So do not park in someone else's space. Know where visitor parking is and know where to park. Know what they do for lunch. They may, everybody on the team may grab a tray and it's $5, or know if there's a fridge to stick your lunch in if you want to pack, or if there's a microwave. These are important questions, all right, that you should know. Also know dismissal time, teacher dismissal time. Let's say teacher dismissal time is 3 o'clock. Don't have your bag packed at 2:59, ready to walk out the door, all right? It's not okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Also, everyone in here has been issued their West Virginia Department of Education student teaching permit. Everyone in here has that. You need to get on the department website, find that permit. It's a PDF copy. and print it out. You need to have that with you tomorrow morning. Some schools will ask to see it, or they might say background check. Some schools won't, but you need to have it just in case. You need to have it on your person anyway. I've had instances in the past where my students showed up with the permit, and the principal still didn't let them in the school because it wasn't the background check that they were used to seeing. So like I was literally on the phone at 6:45 talking to the student who was crying, talking to the principal to let her in the building, you know, all those things. So just make sure you have that with you, all right? Okay, now let's talk about the first day. Sorry about that. Okay, so you need to arrive early, at least 10 to 15 minutes prior to the arrival time that you were given, okay? First thing you need to do is check in at the office. The secretary will likely be in there, maybe an administrator at the door, school nurse, custodian, you never know. You need to introduce yourself to every single person. Shake a hand, make eye contact, smile, okay? This is your first impression with the school. You need to ask them if they need to see your permit. You have it with you, all right? Then your cooperating teacher and you're gonna hook up, okay? So, greet your cooperating teacher. I think that giving them like a thank you card at the end of the first day, something to that effect, is a nice touch, all right? It's good professionalism. You need to be prepared for tomorrow to listen and learn. You need to take notes. You need to be aware of what's going on. Elementary folks, you need to maybe write down the seating arrangements, know the classroom rules. This is for secondary, this is for everybody. Know what your teacher's classroom rules are and their expectations and like their behavior plans. So just, tomorrow is great note-taking day, okay, to know what's going on. During the planning tomorrow, you need to discuss expectations with your teacher. Your teacher has been sent the expectations for this placement, but go over it again with them. And we're going to talk about all those expectations again today, but we also have a student-teacher contract, which I will show you where to find that. Discuss what they might want you to write your unit on, or teach your unit on, or come up with a timeline for teaching, okay? Tomorrow during planning is a good time to do that. Some of you are going to ask that, and the teacher's going to have a meeting. It's okay. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but it needs to happen within the first few days, okay? All right, does anybody have any questions to this point? And do not be afraid to ask questions in here, because if you have the question, somebody else has it, I'm sure. No? We good? All right, so let's talk about professional conduct. This is very, very important. So as a teacher candidate, you're expected to act as a professional educator in the classroom, okay? So you are subject to the same ethical responsibilities and professional responsibilities that the full-time teacher is subject to. And I'm going to step on some toes during this talk. And if I step on yours, don't get your feelings hurt. Just take it into account and try to do better, okay? So just know that as a teacher candidate now, you're like a professional, you're a practicing professional educator, okay? Understand that and keep that right there. All right, so some professional considerations that we need to talk about. And I'm going to tell you all some little anecdotes and stories today. They're all true. I don't make them up. So just know that things like this do happen, and that's why we have to talk about them. So the first one is to follow all school rules and expectations for teachers, and this includes the teacher schedule and the duties. If your teacher has morning duty, you have morning duty, and it stinks. And because I have had to be outside at 6:50 in the dark when it's snowing, getting kids off the bus. But somebody has to do it, okay? Most schools, the teacher doesn't have the same duty every day, or they rotate. So just understand that and talk to them. If your teacher has evening duty, you have evening duty. I have been at school until the last bus came at 4:15 before. It happens, okay? So you need to know what that schedule is. If there's an issue or a problem, let's say you have class here on campus at 4 o'clock and your teacher has evening duty, you guys can figure that out. You can work that out and make accommodations. The same goes for lunch duties, cafeteria duties, anything like that, okay? You're expected to follow that same schedule. School rules, different schools have different expectations and different rules. Some schools may not want you to carry in a drink, okay? Don't do it. Some schools don't want their teachers chewing gum. Don't do it. You understand what I'm saying? You need to know what the school rules are. You will pick up on the culture of a school really quickly, and your teachers' expectations and their culture, okay? So just know that. The second thing is very important. I actually had somebody call me about this week, okay? You need to communicate with your cooperating teacher and other teachers as professionals. You may know the cooperating teacher already. You may know the principal. You may go to church with them or have like some sort of personal relationship outside of school. However, when you are in school, they are Mr. or Ms. or Mrs., and so are you. Is that understood? Do not waver from that. It's unprofessional. I can think of 2 students right now who came into my office who I did not know their names and said, "Hey, Amanda, da 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 da." And I'm just going to tell you, that rubbed me the wrong way real quick. It's just not okay. It's not professional. And if you will notice, I will call Dr. Allen, Dr. Allen. I will call Miss Ray, Miss Ray when we are here. Out of here, maybe not. But here, that's just how it works, okay? I would never talk to my dean and call her by her first name. Therefore, you should always remember that. You need to keep an open mind when working with teachers who may have differing philosophies. I can go all the way back to my student teaching and tell you that I had 2 different placements, and both placements were night and day. Both teachers had very different philosophies than what I had, and one I really enjoyed and I learned a lot from her, and the other one I cried every day for 8 weeks. Sometimes going to school, but most of the time every day coming home from school. And my husband would say, "Only 7 more weeks, only 6 more weeks." And I just did it. I dealt with it. And if I told you some of the things, no one was being abused, but no one was really being taught. And it was not real professional, the atmosphere, but I just smiled the whole time and powered through. And you know what I learned from that? That I never wanted to be that kind of teacher. And it stuck with me. And the next year when I taught that same grade, I did everything opposite from that person. And I had a great year. So just know that everything is a learning experience. Obviously, we don't want anyone to be abused or, treated poorly in their placement. So if something really negative is happening, obviously you need to let me know. However, just not always agreeing with your teacher or them not being super fun or things like that, it's just part of it, okay? And it's part of working with different people and having different personalities surround you. Okay, here's another one. Maintain confidentiality at all times. I'm trying to tread lightly on this. Just today, I heard some folks discussing schools and some different things. It's just not okay. Don't do it. Everybody's school is different. You are going to be maybe placed in a school that's a Title I school that the kids are really low SES, and whenever you're placed at schools like that, you have certain problems that pop up. And when you're placed at other schools that aren't low SES, you have different problems, okay? But all schools have different issues and different things happening. And so you need to maintain confidentiality at all times. You are going to be in classrooms with kids who are being visited by Child Protective Services because they may be getting abused. You're going to be in classrooms with kids who have lice or bed bugs or things like that. You are going to be in class with kids who throw fits or have IEPs or 504 plans. And you need to just make yourself aware that you are not to discuss that. Is that understood? Do not leave that classroom and talk about that. If you need to talk to someone, talk to me, make an appointment, or just call me, or just send me an email and we will talk, okay? My door is always open for things like this. Do not go and talk amongst yourselves. Everybody likes to talk about their placement and how it's going and this and that. What are you doing in the classroom? But don't talk about things that you should be confidential about. Okay? When I first started working here, I had 2 students who were like in the checkout line at like Walmart, Target, somewhere like that. And they were discussing, one student was at a school that the other student had been at in the same classroom. And oh my gosh, so-and-so they just don't know how to act. Is that person still throwing fits? Are they still acting up? Guess who was ringing them up? Grandma. True story. And another instance where a student teacher was placed at a school, a different school obviously than their level 2, and started bad-mouthing the teacher that they had for the level 2. Those teachers were best friends. They did that. Okay? You never know who you're talking to, and you never know who you're talking in front of. So unless you need to talk, if you need to talk to someone, talk to me. If not, keep it to yourself. Got it? Okay. That topic right there will get you fired before you're hired. Understand? And we're going to talk about a few things like that today. Okay. Next thing is stay positive. Like I said, my second placement was not great. And I cried in my car every day. But I smiled when I was there, you know, because that's part of teaching. You are going to have bad days. And you are going to have days where you feel like everything personally around you might be falling apart. Okay? I'm just going to give you guys a really close to me example. One of my best friends went back to school today, back to work. She and I taught on the same team. We taught first grade across the hall from one another. She's one of my dearest friends. She's not worked since May because her son was killed in a car wreck. And she, you know, felt like at first that she was able to go back in the fall, but then she really started thinking about it, and she said, I just don't know if I can go back and be on the whole time and smile all day. And so she took off until now. And I saw her yesterday, and she's still nervous, and she's still worried about it, you know? But that's the difference. Teachers have to be on all the time because you have kids coming into your rooms, and you wouldn't believe the homeworks they leave, right? You might be the only good thing in their day, and so you need to remember that. So really try to stay positive about all things. You need to treat students as individuals with respect and fairness. One example of this is whole group punishments. Oh, gosh, nothing makes me crazier. You know, well, that's fine. If y'all can't behave, everybody loses 5 minutes of recess. Was every single student in that room acting up? Probably not. Okay? You need to treat everybody as an individual. You need to treat kids with respect. You need to know everyone's name in your class. That is one thing that sometimes pops up on evaluations, is that the supervisor went to see them and the student was teaching and they said, okay, you in the back. You in the gray shirt. That's not how this works. Okay? Learn your kids' names. That's a good task for this week. All right? It's a lot easier in elementary, and I understand that, but you need to do that. You need to learn their names. You need to take advantage of all learning opportunities. You might be invited to a professional development after school, or like an early release day or something like that. If you're invited, you definitely need to go. You definitely need to stay. We are offering some STEP sessions. We used to offer those on Saturdays. I think we're going to offer those in the evenings this semester. So if you can get signed up for those, get signed up for those. Go to kids' basketball games and softball games and volleyball games, and stay for dances and do things like that. It shows that you care, and it shows that this profession is important to you. It shows that not only to the kids, but to the adults around you who may have a position open next year. Understood? Any questions on this? No? Sure. Oh, good. Yes.
You said about going to like the half days or the professional days.
Mhm.
Are you required to go?
Yes,
to those?
you are. Yeah. You're required to be at school. It's a school day for teachers, okay? I will have that question pop up. Somebody in this room will still email me in a couple months and say, so my teacher said I really don't have to come on Friday, or I really don't have to stay, or this and that. Yeah, you do. Just tell them, I'm sorry, Ms. Priest says we do. And if they have some sort of training and there's not a seat for you available, then you need to go to school, and that's a great day that you could work on your TPA or work on lesson plans, okay? So we're always working. We're always at school. All right, the next thing I want to talk about has really become important in the last few years with us. It is cell phone usage and social media. Okay, cell phones. Why do we say cell phones? Does anybody say cell phone anymore? It's just your phone. Okay, everybody's got their phone. All right, mine's laying right here. If you will notice, I haven't looked at it while I've been up here talking, but I know there are people in this room who have looked at their phones while I've been talking, and that's okay. I'll follow you. It's no big deal. It's a professional courtesy in here, okay? So don't check your phone while we're talking. This is important today. Don't check your phone in class. Don't be on it. Don't be texting. Don't be scrolling. Just don't be on your phone. If you need to use your phone for, a lot of teachers have their phones synced or their iPads synced and they use them for timers or for smart boards or for Apple TV or whatever. That's awesome. That's totally fine. Dojo, elementary, any of that, that's great. However, but for you to pull your phone out and text is not okay. Teachers will complain about it to me. They may not say anything to you about it, but I'll get the email. What's the phone policy? Can you can you help me review the phone policy? So then everybody will get the email, group punishment, everybody will get the email that says, stay off your phones, okay? Don't have your phones out. They should always be kept on silent. I shouldn't hear some crazy ring. I shouldn't hear some dinging all the time. Keep your phone on silent, okay? Now, social media. And most people, like, my watch is synced to my phone. If I really was expecting an important text and that buzzed through, I could just glance down at my watch, couldn't I? It's not a major deal. I'm not doing this thing, okay? So don't do that, please. Inspector Gadget, do y'all know what that is? Used to be a cartoon. That's what I always think of when I see people talking on their phone. Okay, on their watch. All right, so, social media. Do not. Here's the first thing that's going to happen when you go in tomorrow. Okay, so secondary people, middle school, high school people. You're going to go in and you're going to introduce yourself. And you say, hi, I'm Mr. Da-da-da, I'm Mrs. Da-da-da. And your phone is going to blow up in about 10 minutes because guess what's going to happen? Friend request, friend request, friend request. Because they're all going to do it. Elementary people, guess what's going to happen? Your teacher is going to send home on their weekly note, we have a new student teacher coming to our classroom and their name is da-da-da-da-da. And then you're going to get friend requests, friend requests, friend requests. Or just people looking you up. All right, so let's talk about that. Don't accept students or parents. Just don't. If you're already friends, like if you already have an acquaintance that you're already social media friends with, okay. And listen, I'm telling you this, but this is ultimately up to you. I cannot take everyone's phone and go through it, okay? This is ultimately up to you. I would not accept students or parents on social media sites, okay? The next thing I would do is, if you haven't done this already, and we have talked about this multiple times in every orientation you've ever been to for every clinical, is to mark your social media on private. All sites should be set on private. However, even if you're on private, what can people see? Your picture. Your profile picture needs to be acceptable. If you would not want your grandpa looking at your profile picture, or your pastor looking at your profile picture, or your first grade teacher looking at your profile picture, change your profile picture. There have been school systems who have called me in the past and asked me if I had anybody who had just graduated that I thought would be a good applicant for a job. They had a position open. Do you know what the first thing I do is? I look them up on Facebook. And I looked somebody up one day, and they had on a black tube top and shredded up jeans, and they were holding a Miller Lite. And I went, nope, I don't have anybody. And I don't know if they had a job or not, but I was not putting my name on that. Because that's the first thing that the school is going to look at. That's the first thing that the Board of Education is going to look at. They're going to look you up on your social media. If you have things on your social media that now you think, I maybe would delete that. Okay? You all know that people have been fired in the past 2 years in Cabell County for tweets that they made 4 years ago. Just be very careful. If any person in here wants to follow me on social media, guess what I do? Accept. And some of you do. Some of you do follow me on social media. you know what you're gonna see? Teacher stuff, Marshall stuff, cooking videos, pictures of my dog, pictures of my kids, pictures of my husband. You're not gonna know what my political affiliation is. You're not gonna know a whole lot of things like that about me, okay? You're just gonna know the general gist of who I am. Because I don't post things like that. Okay? Get where I'm going with this? It's your social media. You own it. These are just very strong recommendations, all right? If you are already friends with the teacher or with parents, you need to be careful what you post from this point further. Your life is not yours anymore. I'm sorry. It's just part of it. I always use this example, but we have a Mexican restaurant like in our town, and my husband was a principal for 16 years, I think. If we go to the Mexican restaurant on a Friday evening and he wants to drink a beer, he puts it in a white styrofoam cup. Because kids come in there. And guess what? He's not even a principal anymore. Like, he has a totally different job. He still does it, though. It's just part of the gig. Okay? Know that. Understand that. Anybody have any questions about this? Nope. Sure? Okay. All right. Dress. This is always a fun one to talk about too. Okay, these are all, if I give an example, it's a real life example. So do not think I made it up. I have to address this. Okay. I emailed everyone in here and said dress business casual today, didn't I? I told you what to expect, what to wear. Everybody was good. I looked at everybody coming in, I was like, okay, everybody listening. That's good. Because I have had people coming in their yoga pants, and in their sweats, and in their, pajamas, it looked like. And that's just not okay. It's not acceptable. You're a professional now. So you should dress business casual. You need to consider your grade level, and you need to consider your content. You need to consider where you're placed, okay? And a lot of people in here may be like, what? Sure she's saying these things. It's important. And I just need you to hear me out and listen to me. Okay, elementary folks, if you're in an elementary classroom and you're in a kindergarten, I wouldn't wear high heels. I just wouldn't do it. I've taught kindergarten. It's hard. You're in the floor a lot. I taught first grade for a long time. You're in the floor a lot. I just wouldn't have my high heels on that day. I maybe wouldn't wear something that was like tight fitting, or if I bent over, you could see my chest or things like that, because you're going to be in the floor a lot, okay? Middle school, high school folks, you are not very far removed from the students that you're teaching in age, okay? Especially high school people. Therefore, you have to differentiate yourself from the students. People should not walk in the classroom and think you're a student. And there are ways that we can do that, and we've talked about it before, but your clothing should be appropriate, okay? It should cover appropriately. Sometimes I'll think something looks good, and then like one of my kids now, not my husband, my kids will be like, Mom, no. I just go change, okay, I get it, it's fine. And I'm the same with them. I'm like, no, But here's the thing. If you would wear it to work out, or if you would wear it out to Jake's or wherever people are going now. That's where people went when I was in school. Do people still go to Jake's, or are people going to Jake's? Oh, it's closed. That's how old I am. See? Where do people go? Nobody knows. People don't go anywhere. Okay, if you would wear it to Jake's or somewhere else, or if you would wear it to work out, don't wear it to school. Okay? Just don't. Don't wear it to school. If you have any questions about something that maybe would be professional or wouldn't be professional, ask me. Do you know that once we'll talk about the capstones at the end of the semester, but we ask that you dress really professional on that day. Do you know how many people send me text messages with pictures from dressing rooms? What do you think? I'm like, looks good. Yeah, or no, I wouldn't wear that. Yeah, I just have one. So, and know the culture of the school. You're going to be in schools where all the teachers wear jeans and hoodies. You're not wearing jeans and hoodies every day, okay? I was at an elementary school a couple years back, and it's one of the schools we place at, one of the schools we work with, and one of my friends I graduated with works there, and she said, you can always tell the student teachers from the teachers around here, because the student teachers always look great. And I kind of got tickled, but she was right. All the teachers had on jeans. The principal's very, very picky at that school. Just like this with everything except the dress code. However, you know, we've had other schools where students were placed. We had one student who, you know what kind of school you're in. You're either in a capri pants school, y'all know what I'm talking about, where all the teachers are kind of wearing capri pants and a nice matching. One of my teachers I got placed with, she bought all of her clothes at Christopher Banks. You know what I'm talking about? And everything was an outfit. Everything matched. And she looked great all the time. And then the other teacher I got placed with wore jeans every day. So when I was in the first place, I dressed really nice every day. I wore dresses, and because it was fourth grade, and I just really looked nice every day. And then when I went to kindergarten, I was like, okay, I can tone this down a little bit. We had a complaint one time about a student teacher wearing white spiked high heels to her placement. Do that. It doesn't look. She probably would have wore those to Jake's, so she probably shouldn't have worn those, So just know that. Casual dress can be worn. You can dress casual at times. Special dress down days, like designated within the school. My school, on Fridays, the teachers wore jeans, nice top, cute shoes, and everybody paid $2, and it all went to like the Relay for Life fund, something like that. Your school may do that, and that's cool. That's totally fine. Like, we don't really have Spirit Week right now coming up, but like if they have like Spirit Week before testing, a lot of schools will do that. Crazy hair or crazy socks, or do it. PJ Day, do it. Don't wear your skimpy PJs. Wear your good. Go to Walmart and buy you a pair of PJs. Okay. But if you ever have a question about, is it okay if I do this? Just shoot me an email and I'll email you right back. Okay. Students should be well groomed. Guys, this comes up every semester. I'm not even kidding you. Take a shower. Wash your hair. Trim your beard. Brush your teeth. Wear deodorant. Wash your clothes. Don't get them out of the dirty clothes hamper. And I don't think if there's anything else I missed. A couple semesters ago, I had a teacher call me, and she said, I think my student might be homeless. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she said, well, I walked by their car, it's full of stuff. They wear the same shirt, the same pants every single day. And I know this because it's a black shirt, and they got mustard on it on Monday, and it's Thursday, there's still mustard on the shirt. And I'm like, okay, oh my gosh. So I bring the student in, and I start talking to them, and I start trying to get some information out of them. And I've got, I've called student affairs. Is there money set aside for students who are struggling? And that student was just lazy and didn't want to wash their clothes. That is unacceptable. And it will not fly. You won't get hired. I don't care if you're the best teacher on the planet. The school does not want someone there that doesn't care enough to wash their clothes and clean up. Okay? So just know that. If you're struggling with clothes, with like getting some things together or whatever, come talk to me. I've always got ideas. I've always got some resources and some things like that. We can always work together on that. Tattoos and piercings, with the exception of ear piercings, have to be covered. Now, some of you might have like a little something here or something on the top of your foot. If it's not like a distinct tattoo, then it's usually okay. Look at the culture of your school. Look around. See what the other teachers are doing. If I had a nose piercing, I might take it out until we got started, and I looked around and I saw what was going on in the school, and then if you wanted to put it back in, if you talk to your teacher and they feel like it's okay, then it's fine. All right. ID badge. Everyone in here should have an ID badge, correct? Yes. Okay. If you don't, talk to me about it. I'll tell you where to go get a makeup one, but you have to have one tomorrow when you walk in the door. No exceptions. Your principal's going to have one on. Your classroom teacher's gonna have one on, your cooks are gonna have one on, your custodians are gonna have one on, because if a parent walks into the school, they wanna know who these adults are around their kids. All right, so you have to have an ID badge. All right, any questions? Yes,
For the wellness,
I was getting ready to touch on that. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna make a little note to add that to my slide. Okay, wellness people. Dress appropriately for the classroom. That means if you're in a gym, you need to dress for gym. I would wear khaki pants, khaki shorts, nice shirt. I would not wear gym shorts. I would not wear a t-shirt. Some of your teachers are going to have that on. If you're in health classroom, same thing. My husband taught health in the past, and he wore khaki pants, polo shirt, ready for this, white K-Swiss. That's again how old I am. He wore that every day. That's what he wore. You know, he just was, and then he became a principal. He never wore jeans to work. He just didn't. So be careful with that. Just, but you don't need to dress up. You don't need to have a shirt and tie on or anything like that. A few years back, one of our students, she was actually student teacher of the year, and she was a wellness student, and she came to one of our seminars. It was just like a few weeks in, like 3 weeks in. She looked great. I mean, she had on like a super cute outfit and tall shoes and shoes. I was like, gosh, you look fancy. What are you dressed up for? She was like, I wore this to school. And she was teaching elementary PE at the time. And I'm like, why? Because you said we had to look professional? I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's when I started really designating, okay, if you're in PE, let's talk about what that means, okay? So I was like, you don't have to wear that anymore. She was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. My feet are killing me. I'm like, I'm sure they are, you know? So just sort of look around the school, know what the culture is, and know what's up, okay? And if you have any questions ever about anything like that, just send me an email. Let me know, okay? All right, next thing, super important. Attendance policy. So you are now a student teacher, which is the same as a classroom teacher, in our opinion. Therefore, you are expected to be at school, on time, every day, ready to teach. No exceptions. Waking up and feeling bad is not an excuse. Or staying up too late and being tired the next morning is not an excuse. If you're sick, like you got a temperature, you're throwing up, you're bad off, don't come to school. Go to the doctor, okay? Do not come to school. Because as a parent, I don't want you around my kid, getting my kid sick, and then them dragging it home, and then I'm sick, and then if my husband's sick, heaven forbid, and then it's a whole thing, okay? That's the parent point of view. It's also the teacher point of view. If your teacher, your classroom teacher doesn't want you bringing something in and getting other kids sick or getting them sick, okay? If you're sick, you need to get a doctor's excuse. You need to stay home, all right? Otherwise, you need to be on time. You need to be there, you need to be on time, you need to be ready to teach, you need to have your stuff ready every day. You are expected to perform the same duties as the cooperating teacher. We have talked about that. You cannot shirk duties. It does not work that way. Okay, so let's say you wake up and you get the virus. Who in here's had it? You've gotten it from the elementary school. It's the worst. It's the worst. First thing you do is you let your teacher know you're not going to be there. Because what if you were the lead teacher for the whole day and you had all the plans and you had everything ready? You got to let them know you're not going to be there because they've got to change their whole mindset and be expecting to teach that day. Next thing you need to do is you need to let your university supervisor know. Most of our supervisors in here will give you their cell number and you guys will text anyway. You need to let them know ASAP you're not going to be there. Then you need to let my office know. You need to let me know. You have to send me an email if you are absent and let me know. If you don't, we have problems. Understood? I'm going to just say this too. This last semester was the best group that I've had over 5 years when it came to missing school or being absent. They just didn't. They weren't. If they had to miss and they knew they had to miss, they contacted me ahead of time. We made arrangements. We worked things out. Because people have lives, and I get that. You know, and people have things going on. I had a couple people get married last semester. Great. They let me know. They let me know they're gonna be gone. We worked it out. But I did not have the like incessant, I'm not feeling well today, I'm not coming in. Did not have that. And I'm expecting the same out of this group, okay? It's really important that you're there. Okay, unexcused absences. If you have an unexcused absence, that means you didn't go to the doctor, you woke up, you didn't feel good, you stayed home that day, you just missed. You just flat missed. Those are made up at the end of the second placement. Everybody starts on the same day and ends on the same day for the first placement. And everybody starts on the same day for the second placement. However, if you miss, you make those days up at the end of the second placement, okay? If you are tardy 3 times, it equals 1 absence. I am talking about 5 minutes late is tardy, okay? Don't be late. Be on time. Some people are just like habitually late. My husband's family is habitually late. I used to tell my in-laws that my kids' stuff started 30 minutes before it really started. Like plays at school and things. I just did. 30 minutes to an hour. Because they were not going to be there on time. They were going to be late. If you know that's you, do everything within your power to not be late. Because if you're late, it just, teachers do not like that. And then I hear about it and then we have to talk about it. All right, the attendance policy. Continue. The PLT or taking an additional praxis are not considered excused absences. However, let's say you scheduled the PLT for first thing in the morning and your teacher has planning the first 2 periods and then you're going to go to school. We can work that out. Same thing with the end of the day, you know. If you're going to miss a whole day to take the PLT though, or to take an additional praxis exam, you're going to make up a whole day, okay? And if you are sick, stay home. If you're contagious, you need to stay home. So absences that fall under university attendance policy are the only ones that are truly allowed. Illness, death in the family, something to that effect. Let me know what's going on with you. All right? I'm your go-through here. So let me know what's going on if you have to be out, and we can talk about it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I get asked this question a lot, and I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Right.
How do you handle if a student's child is sick?
It's a good question. I usually allow a couple of absences with a doctor's excuse. Because I have kids and you've had kids and, you know, some people in here have kids. However, if it becomes habitual, then we have to make up time, we have to figure something out. So, does that help? Yes.
I just
Yeah.
want to say that that's covered under the university's attendance policy.
The children being sick is? Okay.
If you are the primary caregiver.
Okay, if they have a doctor's excuse?
Yeah, you have to have the doctor's excuse, and sometimes you have to show proof that you are the person who's here.
Okay, then there we go. There's the answer. So, thank you for that. I've always sort of went with that, but now we know for sure. I didn't know. Okay. So if you need an absence excused for being sick, you have to have the absence on file with me. That means when you email me and tell me you're sick that day and you're going to be out and you're going to go to the doctor, when you go to the doctor, get the slip. If you go to student health, get the slip. If you go to your doctor, get a doctor's excuse. Take a picture of it and send it to me. Okay? Then it's on file. Please check for inclement weather reports and school closings. Oh, Lord. Here we go. One person in this room will send me an email that says, Miss Priest, Wayne County is closed tomorrow for snow. Do I still have to go to school? No, it's closed. You can't get in the building, okay? So no. Okay, sign up for the school closing text. Sign up for something that is going to make you aware of what's going on. Or look out the window. Get on Facebook. People are always putting things out there, okay? If it is pouring the snow, check your phone. It's likely your school is closed that day, okay? Just tickled. I mean, because this happens all the time. You would not even believe. And somebody here still send me this email. Now, yes,
You may have been just about to answer this, but do you have to make those up at the end?
no. You do not make up days when the school is closed because it's out of your hands. You know, there are some schools, okay, my husband is the transportation director now, which is literally the worst job in the county because you sort of kind of decide whether school should be closed or not or whether you should delay and you let the superintendent know and then they make the decision. But anyway, my phone rings all night long. So there are going to be sometimes like where he has to close a school because it's flooding at the road there, but like the whole county won't be closed. So, or there's power out or things like that. Just know, like you're going to be in contact with your teacher. I would say every cooperating teacher in here, if school was going to be closed, is going to text you and tell you if you don't know. Okay? So just be in constant contact if you think something like that might happen. But no, you do not have to make up those days. And so when it comes down to it, usually in the spring semester, there are going to be students who have way more days in, not way more, but a few more in than other students because some counties will close and some counties won't. It's just part of it. Okay? Yes.
There was a couple snow days at the school I was at level 2 clinical
Mhm.
school last spring,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like the teachers still come in some on like a couple of those days.
Mhm.
What if that happens if they like say teachers have to come in for this amount of hours, but students are like,
Well, different counties have different expectations. So like Cabell County has code green, yellow, red, or they did, okay? If they are code green, which I think is where teachers still come, you're expected to still go. If you don't feel safe, if your car is frozen at the top of a hill, things like that, just get in touch with me, okay? And we'll talk about it. But you need to make every effort to be on the teacher schedule, okay? Same thing goes for spring break. Whatever county you're placed in, that's the spring break you have. You do not have the Marshall spring break, per se. All right, so if you're in Cabell, you have the Cabell spring break, Lincoln, Wayne, Mason, Putnam, Kanawha. You need to check on that, okay? Or out of state in Ohio. Any other questions about this? Yes?
So, if teachers have to report and you have children that are then out, is that an excuse?
No.
Okay.
We'll have to talk about that and figure it out,
Okay.
okay? Most of the time, well, we'll talk about it. I don't want to say it for the group, how's that? Most of the time, teachers bring their kids to school with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it'll just be like at the discretion of the school and the teachers, okay? Anybody else? Yes?
If the school does happen to be closed, do you want us to still let you know?
No.
Okay.
Do not call me and tell me your school is closed. I can get on WSAZ and look at it, okay? I promise. I usually know what's up. I mean, and here's the thing, like, that's why we tell you, like, with the TPA and with different things, get started, get busy, get as much as you can get done, because a couple years back, you know what we had in the spring? A teacher strike, where people missed 2 full weeks. Well, I think we missed 13 days. The first year I was here, Mason County flooded and school was closed for literally like 10 days. So those Mason County people could not get their stuff done. It was a whole thing, you know, and so we had to work on that. Guys, I'm pretty flexible and I'll work with you no matter what, but that's why we tell you to go ahead and get busy on things, all right, and know what's going on. But no, do not tell me your school's closed. I got you. Okay. Now, if your supervisor was supposed to come out that day, and let's say you're closing early for snow or you're closing early for no electric or something, shoot them a text and let them know that you're not going to be there, school's closing. Any other questions? Yes?
If you're at a different school for your second placement, will it be in the same county?
Yours is. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah. For the most part, you will be. I actually have all the second placements done with the exception of like 2 teacher names, which is like really good because it's never done this early. So as soon as I have those 2 teacher names, I'm going to go ahead and send those out so you guys know what to expect and what's going on. Okay? Anybody else? Yes?
Okay, so say we live on like the outskirts, if we can't get to school that day, do we still need to let like all 3?
Yeah. I'll let everybody know. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Really? Okay. So the sequence of the placements goes like this. This used to say 8 weeks, but the university has shortened the semester. and made it a little shorter. So we've changed things up a little bit. So week 1, we got 4 days this week. It's a good observation time. It's a good time to jump in and help the teacher when they need help, maybe with grading or passing something out or working with an individual student, something to that effect. But you're not really leading the instruction just quite yet. Week 2, we look at beginning teaching. That means taking on maybe one class period or one subject and planning for that and then teaching for that. Weeks 3 through 7, we have you basically full-time teaching. You have to teach 3 weeks full-time teaching. The last week of the placement is when you start handing things back to the cooperating teacher, all right? So you start stepping back a little bit. They're going to start taking back over, and you may go out and do some observation in some different classrooms within the school, different grades, or maybe the same grade just with different teachers, because no teacher is just alike. They all do things differently. So that's sort of how the sequence of the placement goes. Okay? Questions? No? Okay, evaluations. So our evaluations are a lot like the level 2 evaluation that you already know how that works. Everything is on live text. You have to log your time on live text every single day. Do not get to the end of the placement or the end of the semester and get the email from me that says you have not logged any of your time on live text. This goes for TIR, this goes for on the job, this goes for everybody. You have to log your time, because without that, we can't show that you were there. I had a TIR last semester who had to go back and log a full semester of time. It was not fun. It took him a while. If you'll get on there, once a week and log that at the minimum, I would keep up with it that way. Your evaluations are also on live text, and so you're observed throughout the placement by the cooperating teacher and by the university supervisor. Your university supervisor will make about 4 visits, 3 to 4, depending upon what level of student you are. My first visit, I always go out, it's just like a, hey, how are you? Checking in on things, here's my card, let's look at the contract, let's do this, let's do that, okay? The second and third visits are formal observation visits. And we have a formal observation form that is now listed in live text. Has anybody logged into their live text and looked at it? Okay, you'll see like midterm final, observation 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, looks just like the evaluation. The observation does. And so when I observe you, I'll go out, take notes, and then I'll come back and put that information in. And then you can access it and read it. All of our supervisors do that. So something we've started with to sort of just keep everybody on track. You will get a midterm evaluation and a final evaluation from the cooperating teacher and the supervisor for each placement. The midterms are due February 5th. Everyone has to get a merging or higher on the midterm. If you get an unsatisfactory on the midterm, you will be put on a plan of improvement. Okay? Does this happen? Mm-hmm. Yeah. For the most part, I know before the midterm even comes, and you know too, whether you're doing well or not, okay? If you're not doing well, they start reaching out to me pretty soon. That's why you gotta jump in with 2 feet, okay? If you receive an unsatisfactory rating on that midterm, you're placed on a plan of improvement. And then with the plan of improvement, if you do not improve, which sometimes happens, then you do not receive credit for the placement. You will know ahead of time if this is happening, because I will be in contact with you, and the teacher will be in contact with you, and the university supervisor will be in contact with you, and we're all going to be talking about things you got to improve on. And if you're not improving, you will know. Okay? Understood? Yes. All right. And that's the worst part of my job. Do we have people who don't get credit? I will say this. Last semester, everybody got credit. It was nice. And last semester, I did not have any student teachers on plans of improvement. It's really good too. I had a few level 2s, and they worked through those things. But when it came to student teaching, I mean, here we are. This is it, right? You're getting ready to graduate. If you don't know how much work goes into it now and you don't want to do it now, then you're not going to do it, okay? So with the midterm and final evaluation, you're observed throughout. The evaluation is set up just like the Department of Education's teacher evaluation system. We set it up so it would be cohesive with what they do, and that way you wouldn't feel like, and here's what was happening in the past with our evaluations. Students were getting distinguished, a lot of distinguished. And then they were going into the real world, into the real classroom, and they were getting a lot of emerging. And then they had their feelings hurt because they thought they were distinguished, but they weren't, they were emerging. Okay, I taught forever. Dr. Allen taught a long time. We could go in the classroom right now and we would not be distinguished in all areas. We just wouldn't. Because it's really hard to find that person who is. I'm just going to say this. Everybody get ready. Prepare yourself to get your feelings hurt. Nobody in here is distinguished. Okay? You're all emerging and a few of you are proficient in certain areas. Okay? Because you're not supposed to be distinguished. This is all brand new. You're a brand new, almost teacher. You're not supposed to be a distinguished educator, okay? So just when that midterm comes and you have a lot of emergings, don't text me crying. It happens. Don't cry. It's okay, all right? Look at it as, you know what? I want to get proficient in everything. And so in order to get proficient, this is what I have to do. You know, my daughter is 13, and when she does homework and she has to do a writing assignment, the first thing I say is read the rubric. Read the rubric. Do you want to be a 4? Do you want to be a 3? Do you want to be a 2? What do you want to be? Well, I want to be a 4. Okay, what do you have to do to be a 4? Read the rubric. Okay? So just work towards the 4. Okay, TPA. Okay. Dr. Lucas and Dr. Watson are going to talk more about this. You guys, okay, I'm going to send you all this, by the way. Don't freak out me frantically writing, because this is nothing. This is just like a general overview, okay? It's an assessment. It's required by our college. Universities throughout the state are completing the same assessments, the West Virginia Teacher Performance Assessment, TPA. It has 7 tasks. The tasks are all different. They're all laid out for you. It should be showing up on your live text. Did anybody see the link on their live text that says TPA or Teacher Performance Assessment? During this, you will take your unit plan that you write for your first placement. That is basically how you're going to write your TPA around it. You will have a video that you will have to submit of your teaching. We'll talk more about that. Task 5. You will have to have artifacts from throughout the teaching, throughout the unit, throughout the placement, so do not throw anything away. Take pictures of it. We will have seminars throughout to discuss the details and each task, and we'll break it down. On the agenda that I sent you for today, it had some dates on the side. It had those dates laid out. I will send a million reminders about those dates. We will have an element, the first TPA seminar we have though, we will break it into elementary and to secondary and related arts, because your questions and your how you teach and how you write things are very different. And so a lot of those secondary questions, elementary people are like, what does that even mean? And then vice versa. So we broke those apart last semester, it worked really well. And then the final seminar we have for it, we come all back together, because it's basically the same for everyone. And then if we need to have more meetings, we schedule those and we have additional meetings. All right? We cover everything for you. So don't let the TPA make you lose your mind on the first day of school. Okay? It's due March 5th. The placement for the first placement ends February 28th, I think. The new placement starts March 3rd, I think, Monday. And so then it's due like the week, it's due the first week of the second placement. So So you have the whole first place to identify. Yes.
Sorry, so you only have, this maybe is